Fathers who battered the mother are twice as likely to seek sole custody of their children as nonviolent fathers. Studies show that batterers have been able to convince authorities that the victim is unfit or undeserving of sole custody in approximately 70% of challenged cases.
And then he started touching me in places, so I rolled over and he pulled me back over to the other side, and he took off my nightgown and he started hurting me. I was little, like my brother was still in a car seat, so I was like 3.
Denial. Like, no way, not my child, no, he wouldn't do that. Beat me, yes, I'm thinking, but touch my daughter, no.
Here we go. Suzanne, please. Suzanne. Suzanne, please, come here.
This video shows Susie begging her mother not to make her go to her dad's house. Eventually, medical and psychological reports revealed that she had been sexually abused. She named her father as her abuser, but that didn't seem to matter, so today she lives with him.
Before I had to surrender her, I called everybody that I knew that was a child abuse advocate. Everybody that I networked all over creation. I made phone calls all over the United States and talked to people, please tell me who can help. Somebody's got to help me protect this baby.
The family court system did not. In fact, in all of these cases, the fathers retained custody, despite histories of sexual abuse and physical violence.
What's important for the public to understand is that judges absolutely, unequivocally, have got to be accountable for their behavior.
This case number is 2001.
Not every judge is like Judge Susan Carbon, who has made it her business to be up to date on the latest research. This research points to judges and court authorities favoring the father, even in cases of significant family violence perpetrated by the father.
I hear more and more judges say, in my courtroom, we're going to do this. This is not that judge's courtroom. This is the public's courtroom.
But the public can't protest what it doesn't know. And because they don't know what's happening in the family courts, across the nation, this is nothing short of a national scandal. This scandal, largely unreported in the mainstream press, is simply hard to believe. Most people just can't believe that if a husband beats his wife, sexually abuses his child, and then goes after custody, he'll get custody. But it happens every day. I came to understand how pervasive family court injustice is when a friend of mine, a paralegal, told me about cases that she had where loving mothers were losing custody of their kids to abusers. I went online, I did research, and I found that from California to Maine, in fact, loving mothers were losing custody of their kids in family courts. And so I decided to make Small Justice. Now, what you are about to see next is the half-hour version of Small Justice. I cut out an interview with a judge, several experts, one of the profiles of the women. But you will get an idea of the basic concept of Small Justice in this half-hour version. Let us begin now with a remarkable husband-wife legal team.
We live across the street, apartments, and we work right here.
Meet attorney Charlie Hoffheimer and his wife, paralegal Diane Hoffheimer. The two run a law firm in Virginia Beach, Virginia, that represents women only in divorce and custody cases.
No, because they think if children believe in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, then they cannot distinguish whether they've been sexually abused or whether they've witnessed violence.
Diane, once a stay-at-home mother, has taken on the most disturbing cases, cases involving sexual abuse and domestic violence.
What happened is I went to work for my husband, or with my husband, and just doing mundane things, and I kept running into people who said to me, "Do something, Diane." And I got closer and I saw a pattern of things going on. And I don't know whether my husband was just sneaky and introduced me to all the people with the same story, or whether it just happened that way. But over and over again, I kept seeing the same man with a different name doing the same things. And I saw the woman suffering in the same way.
Diane noticed it was always the same pattern. It began with domestic violence, followed by allegations of child sexual abuse. It seemed, too, that all over the country, despite police reports and medical evidence which supported the abuse, judges were ignoring the evidence and awarding full custody to fathers. For Diane and Charlie, the rulings made absolutely no sense.
These cases aren't always about truth. They're about evidence. And there's a big distinction in what you can get before a judge and what the truth is.
We haven't run into a whole lot of not accepting the evidence. What we've run into is a lot of ignoring the evidence. So there will be evidence of sexual abuse. Typically the judge will say, well, you know, it's apparent that this child must have been sexually abused. There's, you know, ample evidence that that happened. But, you know, we know that this father didn't do it.
What Diane discovered was a pattern. Men, often men with histories of domestic violence, would go to court with their attorneys and say the abuse never occurred. They would then file for custody of the child. This, in essence, was exactly what happened to Kathy.
The first time I went into court on a spouse abuse petition I was by myself. I didn't have an attorney. I didn't think that I needed one because I called the police. I, you know, tried to get out of a situation that was potentially very violent for me. And I